Y'all know what time it is. Y'all don't know, y'all better ask somebody. Hat on, suit on, looking like a dapper dawn, giving them all dressed like $1,000,000, diamond things in his cuffs. Y'all tell me who could it be but Steve Harvey? Oh, yeah. Everybody out there listening to me, put your hands together for Steve Harvey. Put your hands together. Steve Harvey. Oh, listen, Steve Harvey. Why don't you join me? Yeah. Steve Harvey. Get them on, y'all. Better give me some eggs while I listen to Steve Harvey. Yeah, join in with me. If you're with me, help me say, turn your radio on. You gotta turn it on. Yeah, turn it on. Steve Harvey in the morning, y'all. Yeah. So y'all can hear me on. Turn it up. Steve Harvey in the morning, y'all. Yeah. Turn your radio on. You gotta turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. You gotta turn it on. Turn them up, got to turn Steve Harvey got to turn them out, got to turn them up, Steve Harvey turn them on in the morning, y'all. Come on, Steve. Come on, do your thing, Big Daddy.
I sure will. Good morning, everybody. You're listening to The Voice. Come on, dig me now. One and only Steve Harvey got a radio show. Okay. I want to talk to you today about success, but I want to talk to you about it like I usually do in terms of a principle of it. But I want to share something with you about it. And I was talking to my daughter about it. I've talked about my son-in-law about it, talked about it with all my children. And I'm really starting to express it to them now because I'm talking to a wide range of people constantly. But I want to share something with you. If you have any aspiration of being successful, I want you to realize, starting right now, the effort that it's going to require. And that's why I think it stops a lot of people. I think a lot of people are never told or don't understand the sheer effort that it takes to become successful at anything in any area of your life. If you think that doing your best is enough, I got news for you. It's not. Well, Steve, what if you've done your best, though, and your best ain't good enough? Well, let me ask you that same question. Hold on. If you want to be successful and you've done your best and best isn't good enough, what, you through? That's it? But, Steve, it was my best. No. It was the best you had at that time and that particular day. But tomorrow, add something to it. You've never done everything. There is no you can't go no more. You can't add no more. I've seen marathon runners end up crawling across the line. I've seen triathlon people, man, just staggering in the street and didn't want nobody to help them because they knew that would disqualify them from the race. You got more. Have you ever dipped into your reserve tank? That's what we're talking about now. See, all of us have a reserve tank. On my ranch, I like to ride four-wheelers. I have all-terrain vehicles. And all of them have a gas tank on it. And a gas tank, and most of mine, let me see all of them. Yeah, all of them have gas tank needles on them. And it lets me know when I get down towards E, there's a little lane that's red that lets me know, okay, Steve, you're in the danger zone now. You're riding into the lowest part of your tank. But if I keep riding and I forget to get some gas in there, guess what? When it runs out of gas, all of my all-terrain vehicles, all of them, Honda, Polaris, all of them. Those are the makers. There's a button on the gas tank itself that I can click and it says reserve. That means they know that for the hardcore riders, they're going to ride somewhere and they're going to get themselves in a situation and they're going to run out of everything. They're going to run out of road. They're going to run out of gas. They've prepared because they know for the hardcore rider, every hardcore rider needs a reserve tank. And so there's a button that you can click on the gas tank that clicks it into a reserve, and it'll give you about 50 miles or 20 miles worth of gas in there. Now, guess what? In that reserve, that may be all you need to get you to where you're going or get you back to safety so you can refuel. Don't tell me you've done your best. When your best don't cut it, what you gonna do? See, when best is possible, then good enough ain't enough. See, that's good enough. But if the best is possible, why would you not shoot for that? And you are all capable of making it. But you've got to change your mindset and realize the effort that has to be put forth in becoming successful. You've got to do it relentlessly over and over and over and over. And every day I try to do something to progress my life for the better. I try to do something every day. I wake up every day with a plan, some phone calls, some meetings, some interviews, something, man, that's going to advance and move the brand forward. Because here's what's going to happen, you all. Let's say you reach your goal. Let's say your goal is to make $100,000. Well, I got news for you. Listen to this. When you make the $100,000, you can't go nowhere and go on vacation and put your hand behind your head and say, I made $100,000. Guess what you got to do? You got to find a way now to maintain that $100,000 to keep it coming in. See, you can't just get there and stop and rest and whoa. It is harder to maintain your success than it is to get successful. See, let's say, let me show you this. Suppose it takes you 5 to 8 years to find a way to make $50,000. Let's say it takes you 5 to 8 years to find a way to make an extra $50,000. And you finally, through work and effort, you get to the $50,000 mark. It's only just begun now. Because guess what? In order to keep the 50 coming in, you got to duplicate what you did to get there. And then, here's what you're going to have the audacity, being a human being, you're going to want another 50 because you're a human being. Because you got to have something else to shoot for. Now you're going to want another 50. Well, now then guess what you got to do now? Now you got to do what you did before, plus you got to come up with something else. Then after that, you're going to have the audacity because you're humans, you're going to want another 50. So that's how this works. And see, that's the importance of your relationship with God because you're going to constantly need him. And ain't never a point where you're going to be through needing him. But there ain't going to become a point in your life where you're going to be through wanting nothing unless you done just gave up. And if you done gave up, who wants that? Come on, y'all. This is going to take quite a bit of effort. And if you think it'll come to you any other way, you're sadly mistaken. Because of all the successful people I know that the effort they put out on a daily basis is daunting. And I think that the average person just doesn't understand the requirement of time and effort that it takes to get there and willingness to put it out. You got to cut a lot of monkey business out your life. All that hanging out, all that late, all that clubbing, all that drinking, all that, you got to cut a whole lot of monkey business out to be successful, man. If you're planning on being successful, get up early, stay up late, work, try, think, meet, greet, smile, attract. It takes a lot. Let's go. But you can do it. God is passing out blessings all day long. Why are you not in line for yours? I'm telling you right now, I want everything God got for me. Because what he's shown me so far, if he got some more, man, oh man, how good is God, huh?
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, may I have your attention, please? This is the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Today's show is dedicated to people who during the time change realized that it didn't just change for them.
Whoa.
That's who this show is dedicated today. To the people who got the notification of the time change and realized that it wasn't just happening.
Was thrown into something. Just thrown into something.
Boy.
What?
Thrown.
They were thrown into something.
We going back.
What?
Just throwed me all off.
Oh, my
My
God.
flight
When
was
this
supposed to
happened?
be. I thought, when they did that, my alarm went off different.
Well, when
A
they
whole
changed the time? When did they do that?
What time was that?
When they start doing that.
What time did they change the time?
So that made me think in my mind, because my body adjusts. My body was adjusted to the other time, so when it went back, I figured I ain't had to be there yet.
I'm thinking on the other time. I didn't know that it was the time up.
Right.
So ignorant right there. So ignorant.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So do I still come in
right,
at the last
right.
hour?
Right. So what am I supposed to do about what's going on in me? See,
Yeah.
ain't nobody addressing that. I got
Nobody
you
cares
changed the
about
time.
that,
Yeah.
But what about what's going on in me?
I'm in the other time, and y'all in a different time. Now, how I'm supposed to work?
Right.
So what I
How I'm
supposed
supposed to be brought up to the time y'all on? Ooh.
So ain't nobody gonna stay back here with me?
Nobody gonna come back and get me in my time?
Right.
It's just me.
Stupid.
So that's why I'm not here today.
I love them.
Morning, Shirley.
So ignorant. Good morning,
Yeah.
Steve.
Call it for real.
What time is it? Good morning. It's ignorant.
Whatever it is in your mind, Junior boy.
Okay.
Morning International Mentor.
Yeah. J. Anthony Brown.
What's going on? I'm here, and I just finished chemo. I'm here. I'm here.
Hello.
Time.
What?
Now, the voice that I didn't say isn't here because he said the time change throwed him off.
Yeah.
That's why he ain't here today.
Wasn't that
I'm not
2 days
saying
ago?
whose name I didn't say, but if you didn't hear me say a name, it's because the time throwed me off too.
That was Saturday night. This is Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that don't work for their uncle.
Oh man,
Must be nice.
I love that. So what I
And
supposed to do
so
about the time in me?
this morning, and excuse me with all the time changing, I am in not out of Sharjah and not in Dubai anymore, but I'm now in Botswana. And I'm still at work this morning. Because time
All kind of time
changed, and I realized they had told a lot of people about it, so I wasn't going to be able to use that as an excuse. I'm in Botswana.
All right, listen, hang on to that, Steve. Coming up in 32 minutes after the hour, we'll do our weekend review. We'll find out what the crew did over the weekend. That's coming up right after this.
Fight.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right. This ignorant show. And we just got here, right? We just got here.
What time is it?
It's on your phone. It's on your phone. It goes back automatically, okay?
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you this, though, Shirley. What's on this phone ain't got nothing to do with what's in me.
What is
What's
in
in
you?
me?
Yeah, what is
There's
in
a
you?
different time inside of me.
Yeah, I'm
Time
just
inside
trying to
of me.
figure out what Tommy had worked out in his mind. That's why he ain't here today. And then gonna tell us if the time changed through him.
But you know what, though, Steve? Every now and then, Tommy does revert back to how he used to be when
His
he
old
first
ways.
got on the show. He really does.
So
It's-
trifling. Y'all don't
it's
know. Now,
still
this
in him.
man has changed.
Yeah, he has.
changed.
Yeah, he has.
But this dude, man, at least minimum twice a week was late or not there. I was calling him on the air, waking him up. What you want? What you want?
You getting on his nerves.
Oh,
Early.
Yeah.
It's early, Unc. What? What is it?
What you want?
Yeah,
But
it's
y'all
early. It's
told me
called a
this
morning
before.
show. No,
But
it's
it's
called a
true,
morning
Carla.
show. we get up early. Our job
Right, that's what
is
we
to
do.
wake people
Yes.
up and put them in a good mood. Our job is to
Yes.
get
Yes,
people
it
off
is.
to school, to work, on their way home, and put a smile on their face. That's what
what we
Steve
do.
Harvey
Yes.
Morning Show is
That's what we
dedicated
do.
to do.
Yeah.
Now we
You know
disperse
what?
Sometimes when
information.
people hear us, they go, "Oh, it's time to get up." So
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true, Jay.
It didn't work for Tommy that morning,
Yeah.
though. Yeah, Steve used to call him all the time. What do you want? I'm asleep.
And here
But
we are
we're
today.
at work.
today.
Yeah. This is what, 10, 12 years later? More than that, right?
You are who you are.
Yeah.
I'm
Be
more
you.
than with the time in me.
I love that.
My internal
I,
clock.
Yeah, the
I'm
hell
going to
with the
share
world.
something with you with my Botswana experience today.
Oh, yeah, tell us.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Today, inside of a building, I met my first African army ant.
Huh?
What?
Say
I
what
met
now?
when I came into work this morning. In the building, on the
Yes.
floor, it was huge. I had never seen one in person like that. I met my first African army ant.
How huge? Because ants are
They're-
small. Even big
No,
ants are
no.
small.
No,
Yeah.
take you know the big black ants you be seeing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, about 4 of them.
What?
That's one.
ant? Together
Oh, yeah, man.
makes one?
Yeah, and the guy said, "Be careful. It's a pretty nasty bite. It's a pretty
Did he
nasty."
did he say something to
So-
you, Steve? The ant? Did he say anything?
Well, he told
Did he
me
know
me welcome to Botswana and glad
Welcome
you
to
got past
Botswana,
the
my
time
friend. I
change.
like you a lot.
He said,
Yeah,
Well,
what?
the ant
Steve?
was aware. The ant was aware of the time change too. And
I
so,
want to tell you that Tommy will not be there tomorrow, okay?
The ant, the African ant.
They know about him over there?
so now I can only imagine the size of this thing.
Whoa.
A million of them coming in a swarm across a village, running
yeah.
up on an animal. You have no chance. You have
Really,
no
Steve?
chance.
It's
But
like
I'm in
that?
Botswana. Yeah, I'm in Botswana. We got in early this morning, and I came straight in to do the radio show from here. And my team is here, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of taping here. I'm here for the African Diamond Council and the Women's Conference, and I may show a couple of really nice things from Botswana. But it's
on
just
the
been an
gram.
amazing trip for me. On the gram, you know what my son taught me this weekend that I didn't know about Instagram.
What?
Instagram is a highlight reel of your life. It only shows the highlights. It shows only the brightest baller moments that person has. They don't show the darkness. They don't show the sad moments. They don't show the, for the most part, the gloom. They don't show the journey there. It's just a highlight reel. And it's got a lot of people messed up, man, because you looking at their highlight reel going, man, they have this magnificent life. This is what they showed you. They showed you, they just got that one new dress. They was in this certain spot. They took the picture. But what the other 3 hours in the day? And I never really looked at Instagram like that. It's a highlight reel. I never really looked at it like that. Pretty informative
Cute
information.
and sweet.
Yeah, it really is. It's a highlight reel.
Okay. So you're going to show us
Yeah, I
some
mean, I get
highlights of your trip on the gram, you're saying.
No, I'm gonna change Instagram with me. I'm gonna show the low lights.
There you go.
The
Keep it
real.
100. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep
Low
it
light.
real. I'm gonna do an Instagram the low lights.
Yeah.
Are there any low light? Well, maybe the ants. Please put a picture of the ants on there.
That's a huge ass ant, Shirley.
I want to see it. I don't care for bugs, but I do want to see that.
This is a big ant. It's huge.
Yeah,
You've seen
I
it,
killed
Jay?
it.
Yeah.
You killed it.
Well, after he
You
said
have
it's pretty
to. That-
nasty
that- if
bite,
it bites
well,
you,
let's
you
put a
done.
stop to this.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't watch
do you
him
mean
all
you're
the time.
done?
I'm up here. Oh no, he come
Because
up under
you-
the door and roll up on my ankle and bite me, and I could have got him out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. Oh, me, I'm a soldier. in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army. So when I saw him, that's a fight.
Soldier to soldier. All right, well, coming up next.
Army.
Coming up next, Reverend Motown and Reverend Adnoid are in the building for church complaints. That's coming up right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Coming up at the top of the hour in entertainment news, the president got a mix of boos and some cheers at the UFC match in New York. Those boos are getting louder and louder, aren't they? And the president has announced that he is moving out of the state of New York. But right now, it is Monday, and we're in church with Reverend Motown and Reverend Adnoid with today's church complaints. Let's go.
Oh, gracious. We are here on this blessed Monday morning. We gather to hear and register the complaintionness, the ill-for-McGofferness way of the beliable people.
Whoa.
This is an ungratefulest bunch I've ever seen. And here to deal with these church complaints. My oldest and dearest brother, a man whose nasal passages has been blocked since we was babies. Mama never wiped his nose. And there we have him, ladies and gentlemen, my brother, sitting in for Deacon Def Jam, Reverend Adnoid.
Good voters, everybody. Deacon Def Jam is a little confused about the time, but we'll deal with that at another time. We're not going to take time to deal with that now. We'll deal with that at another time. These are church complaints. But before we do church complaints, I have a church announcement, one church announcement. Mrs. Wildload Wallace would like everybody to know that she did take off her Halloween costume. It is off and stopped.
Oh, no.
Like for the church members to stop saying, well, when you going to take off? It's off. She already had it off.
I'm down.
Please,
all right,
when you gonna take it off? All right, here we go. Church complaint. The senior choir would like to know, Pastor, how come their selection always gets bumped from the church program? They want to know why. They practice, they rehearse, and every Sunday we run out of time. Could you please explain that? Why they don't get to every Sunday?
Well,
every Sunday.
You know, you carry this back to the senior choir as to why they gets bumped often. Number one,
Careful.
I'm not going to be careful. I'm going to be critical.
Well, no cussing.
Number one, half of them forgets their robes and that it is their Sunday. Half of them, even though they've been at rehearsal, forgets half the songs. And then half of them can't sing.
Right.
So now, if it's time to bump anybody, it's going to be the senior choir.
That answers that question right there. Thank you so much. The backsliders of the church would like to asking you, since they're having a problem keeping up with all 10 of the commandments, they're having a problem. Could we cut it down to 8?
Which 8?
That's open for discussion, but
I'm going to say no to that, even though I understand.
Good answer, Pastor.
I'm going to say no to that, but even though I understand. Thus is why forgiveness and mercy had to come about. For he knew that we was not going to be able to do all 10 of the commandments as ordered.
So are you willing to cut it down to 8? Is that what you said?
Well, which 2 do they black ass want took out?
They would like to cut down thou shall not. There's a lot of thou shall nots in there. Thou shall not. Thou shall not lie. Lying is a thou shall not lie. They having a
well, I'm not gonna take lying out because that's gonna stop the admissions of guilt.
Okay.
Now the big one here is thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
Yeah, having a tough time with that one too. They really having
Brother Spencer told me in counseling that he coveted his brother's wife because she was cold.
Okay, yeah. They're struggling with that one. Okay.
Yeah, they are taking every possible loophole and diving through it.
All right, here we go. Another church complaint. This is a complaint. The humpback members of the church are complaining that they would like to have pews that don't have backs because the wooden pews that have backs are hurting their back. It is any way we could get some pews that don't have backs. The humpbacks. We got 4 or 5 of them in there, and we would like to know would you be willing.
Now, what I've done is I've sectioned off the entire front row of the balcony so they can lean forward.
Okay.
And that way the hump won't be able to get that. They'll put them all on the front row of the balcony. They watch the service lean forward. What I'm not going to do is tear up no pew and on the event that they don't come that Sunday.
Really, Pastor?
Because humpback people get sick a lot because there's a lot of toxins in the hump.
In the hump. Up in the hump, yes. Okay.
They could just lean over the balcony, Pastor.
Yeah, just lean over and look under the railing at the scene.
This is so crazy.
And also tell them Deacon Adnoid we will not be playing Gap Band every Sunday.
Where all the humping people at? Where they at?
You got me humping day or night, oh baby.
Where all the humping people at? Where they at? Okay. This is our last complaint, and it's very serious.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord. Someone mixed up the paper section in the men's and ladies' restroom of the church, and all they have is the rough hand towels in the bathroom stalls. They don't have the soft toilet tissue. They got the rough. Can we please fix this and spring for some softer paper in the restroom because it's very rough. This is rough paper.
We're going to have to admit, I ordered those rough paper towels to be put in the bathroom.
Did you now?
And stop spending money on Charmin.
All right, well, that does it for church complaints this week. Thank you, Reverend Motown, Reverend Adnoid. Coming up at the top of the hour, we have some entertainment and some national news right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Well, in today's trending entertainment news, guys, it hasn't been even a week since Donald Trump was booed at Game 5 of the World Series. but
everywhere.
Yeah, he decided to show his face again in public. This time it was on Saturday night at a UFC match in Madison Square Gardens. When the president and his sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, entered the arena, he was met with a mix of boos and some cheers, too. Take a listen.
Wow, that sound like booze. I ain't really hear cheers.
From some people who have heard some booing before. This is from people who've heard some booing before. It's way louder than clapping.
It is.
Okay, see.
It's
Boo
way
resonate.
louder than clapping. Matter of fact, you didn't really hear too much cheering in that.
I ain't hear none.
Well, Mr. Trump, you know, has had a long relationship with the UFC. Back in 2001, he provided the league with a home at his Taj Mahal Hotel in Atlantic City. Eric Trump Jr. disputed the report of boos and tweeted, "When we walked into the arena, it was overwhelmingly positive response."
No way.
What?
No
Listen
way.
to
What?
this again.
Mr. Trump
Just
applied.
like his daddy.
Yeah, just
Just
lying.
like his daddy. Just
ain't
be
got to lie.
lying.
They're
It was
delusional.
You ain't got to lie,
overwhelming
Craig.
cheer.
Just lying.
Wow.
What'd you say, Steve? He just like his daddy.
Just like your daddy. Just be lying.
And the
no
thing about a
reason.
boo, you distinguish a boo quickly. You know,
Yeah.
you figure it out.
Jay, boo and grab your attention immediately.
Yeah.
Dog, let me tell you something.
Who doing? See, they've been
If
on
you're in a
stage,
comedy
sure.
club and it's 350 people clapping, if 2 people start booing,
You hear that?
they ruined your night.
Hey,
That's true.
I thought it
You
was
know,
a
let me tell you the worst boo. The worst boo is a boo that's front row. Can't nobody see them but you. And it's a silent boo. They just going boo. Nobody else can see them. You the only one can see their ass. They going
Dog, they down there mouthing the boo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's happened
my-
to you guys?
That's bad.
oh yeah.
Oh man.
And you hear those louder than the people who are
Oh,
yelling
my
out.
God.
Huh?
Oh, you
Dog.
don't, you don't even
Dog.
pay attention to the people clapping.
That's a mind game right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Focus only on
Two
him. Like if
people.
there's somebody in the audience who's
Uh-huh.
not smiling or having a good time, you have a tendency to focus on that person. The whole room could be hollering, laughing.
Yeah.
But if you see this one person that's expressionless and just not getting it, you end up looking at their ass all night.
It takes you a while to ignore that person and do your show. It really does. And a new comic, it'll ruin their night. Yeah.
It's
a
like
new
a
comic.
silent heckler. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So he heard them boos.
he heard
them.
It sounded like he's at the Apollo. That's what I sounded. I thought
Well, his son said it was nothing but a positive response. Okay, he
son
begs
is
to
lying.
differ with all of you guys. Donald Trump, who is a
Oh,
long.
wait a minute, Shirley.
Uh-huh.
Wait a minute. Also, too, the president retweeted what his son tweeted about disputing the. They just gonna ride with the lie.
Now, here you go. Yeah, that's what he said.
Uh-huh.
Well, you heard it.
Said, yeah.
Yeah, he was there. He was there.
Right.
You wasn't there.
President Trump, a lifelong New Yorker, announced earlier this week that he changed his primary residence to Mar-a-Lago, Florida. Mr. Trump confirmed the decision in a tweet and took a shot at officials in New York, writing, "I've been treated very badly by the political leaders of both the city and state. Few have been treated worse." He added that the decision was best for all concerned. Now, I love this. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo fired back. Good riddance. It's not like Mr. Trump paid taxes here anyway. He's all yours, Florida.
wow.
That's why they
That's
say he's
another
moving,
boo.
so he
That
won't
would be
have to
another
pay
boo,
taxes.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. To
But
us,
also,
to us, Jay.
I think it has something to do with the indictments that's going to be coming down
Yes.
for his tax forms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he needs to know there's more boo waiting on his ass.
It's
There ain't
more,
all-
especially in Florida.
ain't a whole lot of boo.
I heard something last night at the show. In Florida.
What you say? The boo is not regional, huh?
No, it's a boo
The
travel.
boo is real.
Boo is real.
The boo is real, like the struggle. All right, in
Yeah.
other entertainment news, Solange Knowles isn't a single lady just yet, but things are trending in that direction. This is Beyonce's little sister, of course. She issued a statement on Friday saying she separated and parted ways from her husband, Alan Ferguson, after 5 years of marriage and 11 years together as a couple. On Solange's Instagram announcement, she actually said a lot of nice things about a phenomenal man who changed every existence of my life. Solange and Ferguson have no children, although she does have a 15-year-old son from her previous marriage to Daniel Smith. We're always rooting for you, Solange, and hope things work out for you.
Yes, we are rooting
I hate
for you.
breakups.
I've met them together, man. They were really cool couple.
Yeah.
It's good that she's saying
Just
those
didn't work
things
out.
about it.
It didn't work
Just
out.
didn't work
Yeah.
out.
Solange, coffee.
Can she be a free woman? She's not quite free yet, Junior.
That's okay. I just said coffee. It's nothing committed.
Shoot your shot, Junior. Shoot your shot, baby.
Hey, Solange.
Hey, did you say
Nobody want to have
Solange?
no uncommitted ass coffee with you, man.
It's like cranes in the sky.
Sing her song, baby. Sing.
But he used to think she said crazy in the sky. All right, listen, coming up at 20 minutes after the hour, some famous last words. We'll get into it right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, so Jay.
Yes.
What is this famous last words? You wrote a
Famous
segment?
last words has to do with a lot of people get hurt by stupidity, or sometimes they don't make it because they say something or do something stupid, and all we have is their last words. For instance, last words like this: "That gun ain't loaded." Those were their last words, all right? The last words they said was, "That dog don't bite." That's the last words they said.
Famous last
The
word.
famous last words. Like he said before he left, "I'm going this way. I'm going this way because all the bears are hibernated at this time." All right. So that's the last thing we heard from him. All right.
Yeah.
The last thing he said, he was in the living room and he said to the little boy, "Punch me in the stomach as hard as you can. I can take it." And that was the
Famous last
that was the
words.
last thing he
Jay,
said.
I got one.
You got one? Go ahead.
I
Go
got
ahead.
one. Famous last word.
Uh-huh.
I bet you better get out my face.
Oh, yeah. We heard that a lot.
I bet you better get out my face.
Famous last words. Famous last word he said to the group was, "These ain't poison mushrooms. I know poison mushrooms and I see poison mushrooms." Okay? That's it.
Yeah. No. Famous last word.
Famous last word.
Jay got one, Jay.
You got one? Go ahead.
I got
Go
one.
ahead.
I ain't going nowhere.
Famous
That's the last
last
thing
word. You got one? Here you go.
Steve
Here
got
you go.
one.
You got one, Steve? You got another one? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I can jump over there.
Before you bust your butt.
Yeah, right there. I can jump over there.
Famous last words he said when he went to bed: "I'll go to sleep and it'll be all gone in the morning. I'll feel much better." Don't worry. Famous last words.
Wow.
Hey, Jay.
Famous last. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Famous
You got
last
one?
word. Famous
You got
last
one?
word. No, not this time of year. Sharks only like warm water.
Wow.
Okay.
Famous last words. "Don't worry about it, girl. My wife sleeps. She can't hear a damn thing. Don't worry about it."
It's a lot of famous last words.
Woo.
Go ahead. Take it out, man. Take it out.
Come on,
Famous
Steve.
last word.
Yes.
Somebody drop something in the water,
Uh-huh.
and then somebody say, "I get it."
There you
All
have
right,
it.
thank you
Famous
guys.
last words.
Yeah, thank you guys for famous last words. Coming up at 34 minutes after the hour. Well, tomorrow's election day, and we're going to talk about the importance of local elections right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Tomorrow is election day. Go vote, please, in your local elections in your community. There are gubernatorial races in Kentucky, in Mississippi, and in Louisiana, people. Yes. In addition, there are more local elections all over the country, and voters will vote locally on numerous citizen initiatives, mayoral races, ballot measures, and referendums, plus state legislative elections in Mississippi, Louisiana, and New Jersey. And there will be a few special federal elections to replace members who have resigned. So we have to just
Please
tell you,
go
we have to
vote.
urge you,
Please.
get out
Yes.
and vote. These local
Yes.
elections are so important, man. They
Yeah.
they
And it sends
are.
a message to the Republicans too. What we thinking? Let's get up. Let's get up and vote, y'all. Please,
Yeah.
please, please.
Yeah, they're hoping you
know
don't
what?
vote, and they hope you forget.
Well,
Go
here's
ahead,
the deal, and I thought of this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's up in arms about this impeachment inquiry, impeachment trial, and the possibility of impeachment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that we do not have a single say-so in that? They are going to be voted by the House and the Senate. The Senate is Republican dominated. They're not going to impeach him.
Not at all.
Here's what can happen, though. You can vote
Yeah.
in all of the local elections. You can vote when it's time to vote for Congress and Senate. And you will determine who sits in the Senate and who sits in the House.
Thank you.
Who
Who
represents
determines.
you.
Now listen, I don't really think they're going to impeach Donald Trump. I don't care one way or the other. But you can vote him out of office come next November. If enough people show up to the polls who are upset the way the country is being run, upset about the way our country looks, upset about the direction that our country's taken, upset about the example of leadership that this president shows to our children, to our young people, it is not the right look. And so whether they impeach him or not, you have a vote. And your vote changes things, man. It really does. And so the last time he lost a popular election by 3 million votes, but because of the electoral, he got in.
Mm-hmm.
You get enough popular votes in the right states, he's not getting in. Period.
That's right, Steve.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
And local elections, too. You know, you got to think about local policies. When you're voting locally, it affects everything from your income taxes, state taxes, to education, reproductive rights.
That ignorant ass stand your ground law in Florida.
Yes, yes. Get out and
everywhere,
vote locally.
Man.
So again, the governor's races in Kentucky, Mississippi, Louisiana, more local elections all over the country. So, you know, you're going to be voting on a lot of different things. So just, you know, educate yourselves and pay attention, because the people you vote for, you know, especially, you know, when it comes to Congress and things like that, they go to Washington and represent you. Yeah, they go to Washington and represent you. So
and
these governors,
these boos will let you know the way this thing is going now. Okay, these boos, these boos are telling you that it ain't going.
It's not going well. Everywhere every time you attend a sporting event, you get booed. You need to stop going to sporting events.
but that's not what they heard, though, Junior.
No, they didn't
They
hear
heard
that
only
at all.
positive response.
No. It ain't you that determine that. We determine that.
Yeah, and you're
Vote, y'all.
But go vote.
Yeah.
Please go vote, y'all.
Please
Right.
go vote. Also, here's an update on the 2020 presidential campaign of Democratic candidate Beto O'Rourke. Well, there is no longer a campaign for him. He's out. He dropped out.
You said it, Steve.
Yeah, you did. You did. He said his campaign was about honesty and acting decisively, and he announced that his service to the country will not be as a candidate or a nominee. So he's out. So I'm sure, you know, as it gets
It's gonna
closer
be
to
some
the
more.
primaries
It's gonna be
early
some
next
more.
year, yeah, it's going to
they
definitely
need to
be
just
some
come
more.
on.
Because they're running out of money,
Come on,
too.
get out.
A lot of them.
Get out. Ain't nobody voting for y'all.
Out. Say it like in a horror movie. Get out.
No, I want them to get out. Just leave. Ain't nobody finna vote for you.
Yeah.
You know you're not finna be president.
Just get out.
There you go, Jay. All right, coming up next, Junior in for the nephew with today's prank phone call right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, coming up at the top of the hour, right about 4 minutes after, it's today's Strawberry Letter. Oh, I got something good for you today. The subject, I'm dating her brother-in-law. But right now, Junior is in for the nephew with today's prank phone call. What you got for us, Junior?
Nephew is not here. The prank today is time went back.
What? Oh, I was like,
That's
what?
the prank?
That's the
And
prank?
you're pranking him, too?
Time went back.
You just pranked us, didn't you?
No. The prank today is my favorite sock.
Same thing.
My favorite sock. Ready, cat?
Hello, I'm trying to reach a Charles.
Yeah, this Charles.
Okay, are you the guy? Do you live in an apartment?
Who is this?
My name Benny, man. I live in. Let me say this to you, man. This like the third time this done happened. you know, and I done got fed up with it, so I'm finna sit. We finna get this straight.
Hold up, man. Wait. Who are you again?
My name Benny, man. I live in. Listen, do you use the washroom on the property?
Yeah, man, I use the washroom. What's up?
Okay, this is the third time this has happened. Last night was the third time. All right, now the first time I happened to be in the washroom with you, and I come up with a shirt missing. Now the second time was my T-shirt, my Chicago Bulls championship T-shirt. I saw your girl with it on. Now last night was the one that drew the line. My favorite socks was missing out the dryer when I come back to get my stuff. So I don't know what you doing, man, when you in this washroom. If you decide you just gonna go shopping in the dryer and get what you want out of it from other people's stuff, man. But this ain't cool.
Hold up, I'm a grown man. What are you talking about shopping? I work every day. I buy my own. Listen. You called me tripping about some clothes, and worse, you called me tripping about some damn socks.
You damn right. They my favorite socks. So what I got a problem is, what makes you think you can start opening up dryers, getting people's stuff out, man?
Hold up. What makes you think I'm opening up? Hold up. You got the wrong one. Where you getting my number from anyway?
I got your number from the leasing office. The leasing? Because I told them I needed to. Say what?
They done lost their mind giving you my number, calling me with some about some socks.
Hey, man, they my favorite socks. And look here, I want my socks back from you, man.
I'm going to say this one more time. You done lost your mind.
Okay, I'm going to say this one more time. Either I'm going to get them socks or I'm going to get that one of the two.
You got a plan. You say you live in 5 what?
I live in
you
That's where I live.
Stay in I'll knock on your door in about 10 minutes if it's okay with you, partner.
Hey, man, it's whatever. All I know is you better bring them damn socks when you bring your around.
I'm going to bring that before
my favorite
socks.
You got my favorite socks.
And you crying like a little about some socks?
Man, the hell with you. You got my
man,
socks,
I'm going to enjoy whooping your part.
Hey, man, you better have shirt. You better have my Chicago Bulls championship shirt, and you better have my damn socks. Yo, you can't be taking people's stuff out the washroom.
That's fine, partner. You got 3 equipment coming. Socks, shirt, and a T-shirt. That's what you want. You got our equipment coming for all of them.
But that's fine with me, dog. But all I do, I want my socks back, man.
Like my little sister with a crying.
Hey, man, don't worry about that. I better not catch you or your sister in my stuff. I'm going to tear it off. You hear me?
You ain't going to tear a thing off nobody. You done lost your mind. First of all, why don't you just head on down to the washroom so I can whoop your now?
I'll meet you in the washroom right now, but you better bring my damn socks with you. You hear me?
I'm bringing a whooping to you, punk.
I'm going to put you inside that damn dryer and turn it on since you stealing stuff out of it.
You done lost your mind. Let me tell you one thing. Hurry up, put your on, get down to the washroom now. I'm tied up my shoes.
I'm on the phone, fool. I'm already walking that way. So now what?
When you see me, you know me.
No, I already know you. Once you get busted in the head, you'll know what's going on.
I wish you ain't a man enough, but I'm going to...
I'll tell you what. How long is it going to take you to get your over there?
It's going to take me about 2 minutes, partner.
All right, then. And guess what else I'm bringing with me,
What you bringing now?
Is you listening to see what I'm bringing?
Man, what?
This is nephew Tommy from
I don't
Steve.
give a damn who. Say what, man? Who is this?
Hey, Charles, this nephew Tommy from the Steve Harvey Morning Show, man. Yo, girl, Chandria got me to prank you, man.
Man, y'all wrong. Damn, y'all wrong. Man, I got one boot on. I'm on my way down the stairs. I'm going to beat somebody. Tommy. Come on, man. Tell me it ain't so. Man, I'm talking about, I know ain't no grown man on this phone crying over no socks.
Oh,
Man,
some socks, crazy. Man. Some socks.
Man, some socks. Boy, you know y'all tripping.
Hey, man, I got one more question, baby. What is the baddest radio show in the land?
Man, that's easy. The Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Charles, I got you, man.
All right, bro.
Huh?
Here we go.
Boy.
Huh?
Boy.
You got to have a favorite sock. Why wouldn't you?
Just one?
Not a pair. Just a sock.
Just one.
Man. Huh?
Hey, Tommy.
Huh?
Tommy.
Come on now.
Was you looking for that sock with that extra hour we had?
Boy, spent the whole time. 1 hour looking for one sock on my knees.
Boy, you the best. You the only person can play an old prank and it sound like it's fresh Because you still back there at the time you did the prank.
Work
Boy,
that
you
out,
good.
Steve.
Come on now. Where I'm at?
Yeah.
Where I'm at?
Did you hear me trying to figure it out?
Uh-huh.
Are you?
Work it out.
Hey, Tommy, you the greatest.
Come on now. Come on. I need all this.
Ooh.
Okay? Okay?
You the
Come
best.
on.
You are the best,
hey,
man.
Team Tommy, where you at?
You are the best. You ain't got to ask me. You
Come
don't
on now.
ever have to ask me, man.
My
ever.
favorite
Ever.
sock. Okay,
Favorite
y'all
sock,
heard
man. Loved it.
Shirley,
Loved
Carla,
King of pranks.
why y'all quiet?
What can I say?
You better get in here.
We're letting you
Hey,
talk.
Tommy,
Because we
Tommy.
can't get a word in what you saying, huh?
Tommy,
Huh?
Tommy, you got any maybe some dates, some pretend dates?
Yeah, here it is. December, November 12th. I got a show down at the doctor. We get the shoulder surgery.
What?
Performing in Opera Room 5. Performing in Operating Room 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rotator cuff. It's the rotator cuff
Well-
show. Get your tickets. Stand by the window and watch me work.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's about to go down, ain't it?
It's about to go down in Operating Room 5, November 12th.
But that is how he announced it,
Yeah.
though, for real.
Yeah,
like it was
you said,
Well, y'all,
wait a
it's
minute,
about
Tommy.
to go
Is
down.
this a show? It's about to go down.
That is so legit, Junior. That's how he announced it.
Yeah, it's about to go down. November 12th. Shoulder surgery.
That's
We can come.
because
Like, we can come see
every aspect of Tommy's life,
Is what,
he
Steve?
thinks it's important to us.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
That is kind of a serious operation, though, right? Rotator cuff? It's
Rotator
not?
cuff?
It's not?
No.
I would think so. Your shoulder?
I've never had
surgery is serious, though, Steve.
Yeah,
I've
come
never
on,
had
guys. Yeah.
I've never had rotator
I
cuff.
mean, but hold up, hold up.
What?
I mean, what? It's his shoulder. Have you ever seen Tommy throw anything?
That's a good question.
He plays golf. You need your shoulders to swing, right? The club,
Tommy don't
right?
play golf good. Tommy could quit golf and be the same.
Well,
It's I mean, I don't know how he
I've never seen him use his shoulders.
I don't know.
You know,
We
I
ain't
put my
seen it.
hand on him when he's standing next to me.
what do you mean
I
you put
mean-
your hand on him? All right, listen.
Huh?
All right.
What?
Thank you, Junior, for filling in for the nephew. All right, coming up, the strawberry letter, like I said. Today's subject, I'm dating her brother-in-law. We'll get into it right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Time now for today's strawberry letter. And if you need advice on relationships, dating, work, sex, parenting, and more, please submit your strawberry letter to Steve Harvey FM and click submit strawberry letter. We could be reading your letter live on the air, just like we're going to read this one right here, right now. Okay?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. It is time for the strawberry letter with my good friend Shirley Strawberry.
Thank you, Junior. Subject, I'm dating her brother-in-law. Dear Steve and Shirley, I recently met a wonderful man and we instantly had a connection. I am a widow and his wife died earlier this year. When we met, he looked familiar to me, but I thought that it was just a coincidence. After a few dates, we talked more about his wife that had died, and he told me her name. I knew his wife, and when I put two and two together, I realized why he was so familiar to me. His deceased wife was the sister of one of my good friends. I knew all about him and their family, but I hadn't met him before. I told him about the connection I had with that family, and he said that it was totally fine and normal for him to move on, and he can't help it if he's attracted to me. So we've been dating for a little over a month, and my friend is asking about the great guy I met and wants all of the details. I just told her that the guy is great, has a nice home, cooks and cleans, and the sex is phenomenal. But that was all before I knew it was her brother-in-law. Now it will be really awkward to tell her who the man is. He and I have discussed how we should let my friend know, but there is never a good time to bring it up to her. This should not be a big problem, but I feel like it will be. Again, it's the best sex ever, and we have been all over his house. her sister's house. I feel kind of bad, but I'm truly falling for this man. I don't want to lose her friendship, but this man says he could see us being together forever. He says he's crazy about me too. What should we do? Well, I mean, you've been together a month. Stay together. See how it goes. I mean, I think that's what you guys should do. You're two grown people. You were two innocent people who, just like in the movies, you met and fell in love, or you're starting to fall for each other. That's pretty much it. It was nothing sneaky or devious or premeditated about it. You guys weren't cheating, before your spouses died or anything like that. So I just say you don't owe anyone anything, any explanations necessarily. When you get around to it, you can tell your friend. I would suggest you guys tell them together. But in the meantime, if I were you, I would stop talking to your friend about your new man, because it will only make her want to know more and more about him. And is it awkward? Yes, I agree. It's a bit awkward. But again, it was innocent the way you guys met. So, I mean, we're all grown here. Things happen. Life goes on. And you weren't friends with his wife. You were friends with his wife's sister. And this thing just happened. It's nobody's fault. So, I mean, I just say be adults here. They'll find out sooner or later, but I don't think there's any time frame or time limit on when you have to tell a person or anything. You guys decide. It's your life, and you have to deal with it how you want to deal with it. Steve?
Sorry, Shirley. Sorry. I read a different letter. I'm confused. Subject is I'm dating her brother-in-law. The letter starts with, this woman obviously has met this really wonderful man, and they instantly had a connection. The lady that writes the letter is a widow, and the man she met that had this wonderful connection, his wife died earlier this year. Now, just listening to that opening line, I recently met a wonderful man and we instantly had a connection. I'm a widow and his wife died earlier this year. This letter is about a lot of old people. That's what this is.
What?
Just want you to put some age on this letter right here.
Old people.
It's just too many people dying, and in the first sentence, you're on a dating, this damn near a dating site for people who, look, life feeling empty, ain't got nobody, loved one gone away. Come to the hereafter dating site, because that's what this sounds like. This is.
Tinder for old people.
Yeah, this is old people. This ain't swipe right, swipe left. This is hair up and swipe right. When we met, he looked familiar to me, but I thought it was just a coincidence. A few dates, we talked more about his wife that had died, and he told me her name. I knew his wife, and when I put two and two together, wait a minute, hold on, whoa. See, that's the line that threw me. After he told her name, this woman said, I knew his wife. And then I put two and two together, I realized why he was so familiar to me. Excuse me. His deceased wife was the sister of one of my good friends. I knew all about him and their family, but I hadn't met him before. Wait a minute, lady, you're confusing me. You just said you realized why he was so familiar to you, and then you said, I knew all about him and his family, but I hadn't met him before. Why was he so familiar to you if you ain't met him before? See, Shirley, that's why I said I think she's leaving something out.
Yeah, I agree with that, but she did know his sister-in-law. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she knew him. That's why he was so familiar. I don't think sounded. I think he recognized him because he kept looking at him. I told him about the connection I had with that family. He said it's totally fine and normal for him to move on. Hell, she dead. I'll finish up when you come back.
Yeah, hold on to that.
Line was hell, she dead.
He did not say that. All right, listen, coming up, part 2 of Steve's response to today's Strawberry Letter. I'm dating her brother-in-law. That's coming up at 23 after the hour, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, Steve, come on. Let's recap today's Strawberry Letter. Subject, I'm dating her brother-in-law.
Well, these two old people that wrote in, and this one old lady. She done wrote in, and she's a widow, and she met a man whose wife died earlier this year. There's a lot of death in this first sentence, and then when we met, he looked familiar to me. See, Shirley, he looked familiar to me. But I thought it was just coincidence. After a few dates, we talked more about his wife that had died. He told me her name. I knew his wife. And then I put two and two together. I realized why he was so familiar to me. His deceased wife was the sister of one of my good friends. I knew all about him and their family, but I hadn't met him before. Meaning, Shirley, she had not been formally introduced. But she been in the same room, vicinity, party, barbecue, something. I knew all about him and their family, but I hadn't met him before. I told him about the connection I had with that family. He said it's fine. Normal for him to move on. Hell, she dead. And he can't help it.
He did not
say
that.
He did say that in his head.
In his head. In his head.
No, he said, I'm totally fine. It's normal for him to move on. Hell, she dead. And he can't help it if he's attracting me. And you fine. You fine that she dead. What you want me to do?
I thought they were old.
So we've been dating for a little over a month, and my friend is asking about this great guy I met and want all the details. Now, this just a month now. I keep telling y'all about this 90-day rule, but it don't apply to them because they old. Okay. I met and want all the details. I just told her that the guy is great. He got nice home cooking clean, and the sex is phenomenal. That's the line in the letter that's going to get you jumped on.
Yeah.
When you tell your friend you dating her dead sister's ex-husband that you saw at the barbecue. You been around us. She gonna swear him down. You was looking at his ass then. I promise you she is. Because it's her sister. And you her friend. Women ain't that open-minded. Y'all stop spreading that lie that you are, because you not. Shirley.
Yes, we are.
No, you're not. The guy's great, nice, home cooked, clean, and the sex is phenomenal. But that was all before I knew it was her brother-in-law. Well, it's her brother-in-law. And y'all been everywhere. Now, hear the crazy part. Now it's really awkward to tell her who the man is. You damn right, because it's her dead sister's husband. He and I have discussed how we should let my friend know, but there's never a good time to bring it up to her. Hell no, it ain't no good time. This should not be a big problem, but I feel like it will be. You don't feel like it will be. You know it's going to be, because you know your girlfriend crazy. And you going to tell her that this phenomenal sex you done had was with her dead sister's man that you are familiar with. You just couldn't place it. And again, it's the best sex ever, and we've been all over his house. All on her sister's walls. All on her sister's steps. You in there on her sister's kitchen table. You in there with her sister robe on. You over there in her sister bed.
Ooh.
You funky heifer, you. Oh, no, you ain't gonna disgrace my sister memory. You was at the barbecue looking at him that whole time. I knew the way you looking at her. I'm truly falling for this man. I don't want to lose her friendship, but this man says he could see us being together forever. He says he's crazy about me, too. What should we do? Well, Shirley got one thing right. Y'all should tell her together. Now, the reason I'm suggesting that you tell her together is so that when she opened fire,
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
There'll be some what?
When she opened fire, there'll be some options. Because, see, if you over there by herself, then you going to get shot. At least she could decide if she going to shoot it. her or him. But don't you go into this thing naively. Now, you all going to have to tell her. Because if she find out, oh, my God, then you're worse sneaking around. And you knew, and he knew, and she knew, and y'all met at the party. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's gonna be horrible if she finds out and you all don't tell her. I think your friendship with this woman is over, and I think this life with this new man has begun. But oftentimes you can't get to the next level without shedding some weight. Y'all about to find out a lot about y'all's friendship. I wish I was Martin Luther King right there. There'll be times when you won't know. But there's going to be some dog days for that right there. So, good luck, lady. Hey,
all right,
film
well,
it and
listen.
send it to us.
Film it and send it to us. Post your comments on today's Strawberry Letter at Steve Harvey FM on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to check out the Strawberry Letter podcast on demand. Coming up at 46 after the hour, fallback or daylight savings time. Which do you prefer? We'll talk about it right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Well, this past Saturday, Sunday morning, we set our clocks back 1 hour, and now our internal body clocks are off. So, guys, I got to ask you guys, which do you prefer, fallback or daylight savings time, and why?
Okay,
Steve?
So which one was the one we just had?
Fallback.
Fallback.
Okay, obviously that's the one Tommy don't like.
Because he's not here.
So we have Tommy's answer.
So is he still sleeping, though, really?
Yeah. Tommy's not here because the time went back 2 days ago. Yeah, and that's his excuse for not being here today.
Team Tommy, all the way. I didn't laugh at that.
Answer
at all.
for your boy. Answer for your
Okay,
boy. What's
I
that?
like the one we're in now because I love to go to church and watch the older people show up too damn early. It just throws their ass off. That is the funniest thing you have ever seen in your life. Well, church ain't nobody
Why the choir
here.
already singing?
What? Why ain't nobody here? Where is everybody?
That's not funny, Jay.
To him, it is.
You asked me what I like, and I gave you what I like. Now you're unhappy with
Now
what
we're
I
judging.
like.
We're judging you,
Right,
Jay.
you're judging your
The
answer.
whole churchyard is empty. Ain't nobody here. Where is it? It's Sunday, right?
I cannot stand you.
Sunday. What? And the ushers ain't here. The ain't nobody.
Did they move to church?
I'm at the right church, am I? Yeah. This is the Ninth Baptist Church. That's the church I attend every Sunday. The Ninth Baptist Church.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Where's all the people's at?
You know, that's the thing. When I was living in Chicago,
Oh,
that
yes,
I
Steve.
just was horrible for me.
Yeah.
I went to work. It was dark.
Right.
When I got off from work, it was dark.
It was
Yeah.
You couldn't go outside ever because it was freezing.
Yeah.
So my whole world was in darkness and fluorescent light.
Well, imagine being a kid. Imagine being a kid and growing
Kid
up in
in
that
Chicago.
year after year. Being a kid in Chicago.
The whole time.
That was my whole childhood. Yeah. I loved
A lot of people feel
Spring
that way
Forward.
about
Yeah.
fall back. You go to work when it's dark, Steve, in school, and you come home, it's dark.
Yeah, but
It's dark out. I prefer daylight savings times too. Longer
Yeah.
daylight. I like the day.
But some people though, Carla, love that extra hour. They love that extra hour that we
For
get.
what? It only work if you sleep.
I know. Well, Tommy. All right, listen, post your comments at Steve Harvey FM on the Gram or Facebook. Now, coming up at the top of the hour, Steve is going to tell us about his global branding trip right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, so Steve, you're globe trotting all over the world. So tell us about your big global branding trip that you're on right now. You were in Dubai and Sharjah.
Yeah, the elections were last week in Botswana, and President Moketsi, who Marjorie and I became friends with him and his wife. The general elections were held, and he won. And so we're over here to celebrate. It just so happens it's the week of the Diamond Council, and so we're here for that, the Diamond Conference. And so we'll be doing that all day, all evening.
That's big,
there'll
Steve.
be delegates, banquets, events, the Diamond Conference itself, consumer insight. We're involved with a couple of programs to get young people into learning how to design jewelry. Because it's a big push over here now, because we ship so many diamonds off the continent. But I think but they've discovered it would be so valuable to young people. And De Beers is a big part of this, to teach them how to cut and design and be on all levels of the economy.
Wow.
Yeah, all levels of the economy for the diamond industry, which is huge over here. We're doing some informal dinners and everything. Then I'll be speaking, Marjorie and I, at the Women's Summit here. We're doing a couple summit. And then there's a diamond show, there's fashion shows, cocktails. And then I think Marjorie is going to go to another safari, more upscale than the one we even went to discover what it's like, because we're looking at doing some things with the tourism board here. And I'll stay here and speak with the president on Friday night as a keynote address for the Economic Forum and Investors Council here in Botswana. So that's what I'm doing. And
now, do you prepare for your keynote, or do you just speak?
Are you winging it
extemporaneously?
From the heart.
I'm never. I don't wing it. They have a certain theme that they may be operating on.
Okay.
But I'm talking to adults at this thing right here. The last time I was here, I spoke at Botswana University, and it was mostly young people, and it was inspirational. This will be more adults. I'm, really, and well-to-do people, and so,
while you at the diamond thing,
Jay,
doing the diamond thing with all the diamonds,
make me proud.
Speak for all of us, Jay. Go ahead.
Yeah, is it possible to grab maybe 2 or 3?
Yes.
Wait, one more time. Yes. One more. I like that.
Is it possible to maybe grab 2 or 3? Put them in your pocket and head on back.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's possible. And there is no faster way to go to prison over here than that. You get to skip go. You ain't got to roll the dice. That's a serious crime. Because listen to me. In Botswana, the diamonds belong to the country.
Yeah.
Like if you're walking and you find a diamond, you have to turn it in.
Okay.
Yeah, to turn it in.
Because, you have to turn it in because it's property of the country. Diamonds are so specific to a region. Even if you took that diamond somewhere else, they know the region that it comes from.
What?
Okay, answer me this. Answer me this.
When they report it, what you gonna do? I mean, it's really crazy.
Answer me this. Has the thought crossed your mind? That's all.
Yes. I've seen. Hey man, when I was here yesterday for the Diamond Conference, I saw more diamonds in one room than I'd ever seen collectively total in my entire life at any jewelry store. And it was a 23-year-old black woman in charge of every last one of those stones.
Lord Jesus. All right, coming up.
Give it a shot.
More of today's trending stories at the Steve Harvey Morning Show. We'll be back at 20 minutes after the hour, right after this. Blow your lips again, Jay.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
The Chicago teachers' 11-day strike ended on last Thursday, and the teachers won a contract that includes one of their foremost demands, 16% pay raises for the next 5 years.
Good for them. Good
yes,
for them.
we love our teachers. Yes, we do. And increases to support staff and a social worker and a nurse in every school. Students in Chicago's toughest neighborhoods deal with trauma that includes gun and gang violence and even homelessness. And yet they have less access to health and mental wellness services than many of their peers in wealthier neighborhoods. This is an historic win for the Chicago teachers, staff, and the students. We say congratulations. This was a hard fought. Hard fought.
Can I tell you something, too?
Yes.
The thing that I really love and respect about these teachers is the majority of their fight is for the children.
Yeah.
The majority of things that nurse, extra staffing, things like
Social
that. That's
workers.
for that's for the children to get them help. They're on the front lines of a very, very tough epidemic in this country. The lack of education and the money we put towards education in this country dwarfs in comparative. When I travel around the world, it's like we take education as nothing. Everybody else makes it a premium. So congratulations to the Chicago teachers for standing up.
Yes.
And all other teacher boards deserve the same thing.
Yes, they do.
They're setting the tone.
They do. All right, thank you, Steve. More of the Steve Harvey Morning Show and trending news coming up at 33 after the hour, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Well, in today's trending entertainment news, guys, it hasn't been even a week since Donald Trump was booed at Game 5 of the World Series.
They booing everywhere.
Yeah, he decided to show his face again in public. This time it was on Saturday night at a UFC match in Madison Square Gardens when the president and his sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, entered the arena. He was met with a mix of boos and some cheers, too. Take a listen.
It sound like booze. I ain't really hear cheers.
From
boo.
some people
you hear,
who have heard
Steve?
some booing before. This is from people who've heard some booing before. It's way louder than clapping.
It is.
Okay, see.
It's
boo
way
resonate.
louder than clapping. Matter of fact, you didn't really hear too much cheering in that.
I ain't hear none.
Well, Mr. Trump, has had a long relationship with the UFC. Back in 2001, he provided the league with a home at his Taj Mahal Hotel in Atlantic City. Eric Trump Jr. disputed the report of boos and tweeted, "When we walked into the arena, it was overwhelmingly positive response."
No way.
What?
No
Yeah,
way.
listen to this again.
Mr. Trump
Just
lied.
like his daddy.
Yeah, just
Just
lying.
like his daddy. Just
ain't
be
got to lie.
lying.
They're delusional.
You ain't got to lie,
Well-deserved.
Craig.
Just lying.
Just like your daddy. Just be lying.
And the thing about a boo, you distinguish a boo quickly. You know, you figure it out.
Jay, boo and grab your attention immediately.
Dog, let me tell you something.
Who does he? They've been
If
on
you're in a
stage.
comedy club and it's 350 people clapping, if 2 people start booing, they ruined your night.
Hey,
That's true.
I thought it
You
was
know,
a
let me tell you the worst boo. The worst boo is a boo that's front row. Can't nobody see them but you. And it's a silent boo. They just going boo. Nobody else can see them. You the only one can see their ass. They going
Dog, they down there mouthing the boo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's happened to you guys?
That's bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
And you hear those louder than the people who are yelling out. huh?
Oh, you don't even pay attention to the people clapping.
That's a mind game right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Coming up, our last break of the day and some closing.
Break up the day.
I love the town crier, don't you? The show crier. And some closing inspirational remarks from the one and only Steve Harvey, all the way from Botswana, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, here we are. It was a good day, a good Monday,
Very
huh?
good
Good.
day.
Oh, it
We had a
was.
great
Yeah,
day.
good start of the work week.
And
yeah.
we were
Time
on
went
time.
back.
We were on
Yeah.
time.
We on
Yeah.
time.
All on
It's
time.
good.
Yeah.
Fall
Not
back.
like
Now,
the
all of us weren't on time.
Yeah. Well,
No.
who is this strange person you speak of, Uncle Steve?
Well, this person that we haven't spoken to all day.
Oh,
Nobody
That's who
said
it
his
is.
name. Nothing.
This person, ain't nobody, you ain't heard his voice.
Well, are you going to
Hey.
call him? You need to call him tonight, Steve, and just
Oh,
remind
no, I'm
him.
not calling nobody. I ain't got no time for this right here.
I don't have time.
I'm way on the other side of the world. I ain't got no time for nobody with this foolishness.
But he may need to hear from you, Steve.
You ain't calling
he
back
don't
6
need
hours.
no. What he need to do is be at work. Even if your hour was off, why didn't you come here with the hour off story? So how your 1 hour turned into your whole damn day? I got closing remarks. I ain't got no time for him. Let's go.
Right.
Hey, in my travels, I get an opportunity, man. God has really blessed me to meet so many incredible people from around the world, from all different cultures, all different walks of life. I truly, truly can say I had never seen this for myself. I had no idea God was going to do this for me. I had no idea. And I want to say something to everybody out there. Because just like I didn't see this coming, you don't see your life coming either. We just don't have the ability to see into the future. We have the ability to think into the future, but we don't have the ability to see into the future. We have the ability to make plans for the future, but we can't see the future. We can hope for the future. We can plan for the future. We can have dreams and visions for the future, but we can't see it. But God made us as the one creature who can make decisions based on his hopes, dreams, and visions for his future. And in that, I want to talk to you about when you are faced with the moments in your life where it seems like it's not going according to plan, or it's not going the way you want to, or it's not happening fast enough. Well, let me share something with you. As long as you can remain faithful, as long as you can hang on to the hope that it'll be all right, as long as you can muster up, like old people used to say, the faith of a mustard seed, if you can just hang on to that right there, when it don't go as planned, when it don't go the way you want it to, and it don't happen as fast as you'd like for it to happen, if you can muster up that keeps you in position for it to happen. Folks, you just got to stay positioned. You can't get out of position. If you're the shortstop in a baseball game and somebody hits the ball, and a lot of balls go to the shortstop. The shortstop is a busy guy. He's involved, him and that first baseman, that catcher, and that pitcher is involved on just about every play. That catcher, that pitcher got the ball in his hand every time. That catcher gonna see it coming towards him. It may never get to him, but it's coming towards him. Most hits end up over there with that shortstop. That shortstop plays between second base and third base. That's his position. Now, if he go over there and put himself between first and second base, and that hot shot come up the hole in the middle of that third base line right between second and first, and he out of position, he can't make the play. If you play guard on the basketball team and the other point guard is coming up the floor and you down there on the baseline, and that's your man and y'all playing man on man, you are now out of position. If you're the running back and when you break the huddle, you run out there with the wide receiver, but it's time for the running play and they snap it and the quarterback turn and you ain't there, it's because you out of position. What happens to a lot of us in life is we take ourselves out of position to receive the blessing. You get ourselves out of position to receive what's next. Because even though it's not happening as you planned, even though things are happening that you don't want to happen, and even though it's not happening with the speed and expectations that you had in mind, does not mean it's not going to happen. But if you get out of position, if you move yourself out of faith, if you give up, if you lose hope, you are now taking yourself out of position. I'm asking you, to just stay in position. Keep hope alive. Stay there in your dark moments when it look like it ain't gonna happen. Just muster up the faith of a mustard seed to say, man, I'm just waiting on you, God. I'm staying prayerful. I'm staying in faith. I'm hanging on. I ain't got much left in me, but I'm hanging on. I know you're coming. I'm gonna just stay right here. You are now in position. And all you got to do is be in position. You don't know how God gonna move in your life. You don't know how he gonna bring it about. You don't know what he got for you. But if you ain't in position, you can't know. You can't go over there and sit on the bench and be in the game. You can't go and pout and just go and give up and expect something to happen for you. You got to stay in position, man. I'm so grateful that he shows me things that I can share with people to keep you in position. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't lose hope. Hang on. Stay there. Stay in faith. Stay in the belief that God is coming. Stay in the belief that he didn't bring you this far to leave you. Stay in position. Those are my closing remarks. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm in Botswana the rest of the week. I'm going to be telling you what it's about. Bye.
Drop it.
Bye.
For all Steve Harvey contests, no purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Participants must be legal U.S. residents at least 18 years old unless otherwise stated. For complete contest rules, visit SteveHarveyFM.com.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.